him praise. From the rising of the sun to the place where it goes down, let his praises fill the air in every nation, every town. He's worthy, so worthy of all honor, all glory. Give him praise. Give him praise. Lift your voice. Lift your voice. Let the whole world know his name. Give him praise. Give him praise. Clap your hands. Clap your hands. Jesus Christ will never change. He's the great God. He's the great King. Above all gods he reigns supreme. Give him praise. Give him praise. Give him praise.
I'm going to say like basically every single un-PC thing you can say all at once. Even if you disagree with something that I say, I at least want you to pause and go, why are those the things you're not allowed to say? Have you ever noticed that virtually every major issue in the culture war in America is aimed at the destruction of or the malformation of children? So for instance, all the conversation around same-sex marriage and polyamory, its goal is to redefine the marriage, the family unit that raises children. While the Bible does not teach that a woman's place is the home, it does teach that a wife and a mother's priority is the home. And what like secular fourth wave feminism does is its goal is to get women out of the home and away from aspiring to and prioritizing the mothering of children. At the same time, like this whole secular Andrew Tate chauvinism thing, its goal is to use masculine power for hookup, shack up, breakup culture and avoid ever having children. The whole conversation about abortion is kill the children. Guys, this is not a coincidence. Kill the children. You will see that theme throughout scriptures from Satan. For instance, in Genesis 2, the last thing we've said that God does is he creates the first family. The first thing that happens in Genesis 3 is Satan shows up. Big idea. You start a family, Satan starts a fight. Because what God is after, according to the Old Testament prophets, is he's after godly offspring. So Satan attacks the thing that could create godly offspring. He attacks Christian marriages and Christian families so that he can indirectly destroy the children so that faith cannot get passed down from generation to generation to generation. I'm going to say like basically every single un-PC.
You ready? Well. Good afternoon. Is it me or we just look disproportionately off? Never like that. Okay. I guess. Just wanna get close to you, girl.
Wait, what? I feel like we way over here because I'm having to stretch my mic. Something ain't right.
Something ain't right. We're going to have to refix it. But it won't be today. And it won't be right now. So welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pastor's Q&A. How is everybody doing today? Hey, baby.
Hey, sugar.
You know, it's the first time I seen my wife all day. Well, oh, yeah. No, I saw you this morning. Yeah. So, it's good to see you. You look nice. You look pretty.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. So.
You look dark.
I look dark?
No, we look dark.
We look dark?
You don't see that? Now, the other day you had us super bright. Today we super dark. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yesterday.
Yeah, maybe. So, yeah, and the intro. I can't think of this pastor's name. I like this guy, and that's sad because I do need to It'd be great to know his name, especially
It
since
would be.
especially since I've used plenty of his. We showed a few of his videos.
What is going on? You ain't got your words together today.
Well,
What's
good.
going on?
We on point. So we here, and he makes the statement and the point that everything now is aimed at children, regardless of what the enemy wants to destroy. It's aimed at children. It's going to affect children. TV is aimed at children. Movies are aimed at children. A lot of things are now aimed at children.
A lot of things are.
Everything
All right.
is being aimed at children. Also, we need to go see that new Angel movie. I heard it was amazing. It's based on a true story. I recommend everybody else go see it. It's Truth and Treason. I think that's what it's called. I was told it's something that we should take the family to go see.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
Well, we already got 2 tickets in the game. But I also want to...
Hey, Steve.
Hey, Stevie Steve. But I also want to get extra tickets because I want to pass it on. I want to do the pass on, do the gill for other people. So... Hey, Stevie Steve. So I'm pretty sure that y'all can see...
You have the wrong.
I have one. No, that's...
That's what we talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, I'm pretty sure y'all can see the title, Prosecutors. My wife sent the video about, and I saw the short that she sent, where the lady was talking about the young lady, the mother of this particular young girl, and how the mother wants the world to know. And I guess the way that the video you sent me, they were trying to, they had some editing that they were doing. And they was having the picture pop up in her hand. And it was pretty cute and it was okay. But it made me want to go and get the actual news, the actual, the mother being interviewed, and the follow-up of where the prosecutors actually bring charges, because they said that they didn't think that they would in the beginning. I think my biggest question is, which is also asked, should the parents be held accountable for the actions of a 9 and 10-year-old? Because they didn't charge the 8-year-old. Mm-hmm. So, your discretion is advised. It is disturbing. I do want to say that up front. I think, again, my main question is, those are new. My main question is, should the parents be held accountable? I also went and looked up what is the sentencing, or how would it be held if these young men are convicted? How long?
They never said it was just young men. He just said 8, 9, and 10-year-old children.
Well, I'm talking about the children. So
Right.
So I was looking at, if convicted, what would their sentences be? Also, there was something that I had never heard before, so I was trying to figure out what that was, and why they called it that way. under. And I think for me, what would bring an 8, 9, and 10-year-old to this point? How did we get here? How do a child come to the conclusion to do this? Because you have the spiritual aspect of it, but there's also has to be some type of teaching. There has to be something that is seen. How do we get here? And most importantly, where do we, as the body of Christ, play a role, not necessarily in the actions of them, but what should we be doing in a time like this?
Stevie C said, roll the tape, he'll answer.
Huh?
Stevie Steve said, roll the tape, he will answer.
You okay?
Yep.
You want to do something different?
We all right.
Are you sure?
Go ahead, roll the tape.
Not if you're not comfortable. We'll find something else. We can cut this off and come back on.
Roll the tape. Roll it.
And you won't believe who police say are the suspects. 19's Noelle Williams joins us now with this heartbreaking story, and we want to warn you, some of the images and details are graphic.
I literally saw the worst thing ever. Like, I saw my daughter unrecognizable.
What happened to Antavia Kinnebrew's daughter is something most people will have a hard time understanding. She says her bubbly, sweet 5-year-old daughter was beaten and assaulted. This picture showing hair ripped out of her scalp. Police revealing startling details. The victims and suspects are under the age of 10 years old. This is shocking news to the 21-year-old mom.
I couldn't wrap my head around it.
Kinnebrew's mother held her hand as she wept. She tells me out of safety, she does not want to share her daughter's name or show her face, but she explains what happened that day. She tells me on September 13th, she had dropped her daughter off at a family member's home near East 145th Street and St. Clair Avenue. Somehow, her baby girl walked out the front door. When Kinnebrew found out, she rushed over and saw her 5-year-old being treated by EMS several blocks over.
Her hair was scalped from her head. She had bruises and blood all over her body. Her eyes was filled with blood. Her lips and mouth was filled with blood. Her nails had dirt, debris of dirt stuck in it.
19 News reached out to Cleveland police several times to try and find out if there are any charges. If so, what are those charges? And if the ages of the suspects would hinder that. All police would confirm is that the victim and suspects involved in this case are under the age of 10, and any other information would jeopardize the investigation. Either way, Kinnebrew says her daughter is left physically, emotionally, and mentally hurt and now in therapy. She is grateful for the support of the community so far, but she wants help and answers.
I want her to just to be somewhat of a normal 5-year-old again.
In Cleveland, Noel Williams, 19 News.
So there you have it, Stevie Steve. There is a follow-up report that came out. What the prosecution did begin to press charges on 2 of the 3. So there were 5 charges that was given to these children. In each charge, that was given to them are all felony charges. Every last one.
I'm going to say, like, basically every...
Well, listen, new today, charges have been filed against a 9 and a 10-year-old accused of assaulting a 5-year-old girl in Cleveland. I have got to warn you, the details of this case are so disturbing. I just don't want you to be caught off guard. Amaya Ward joins us in the newsroom with details on how the legal process works when we're talking about suspects that are as young as these kids are. Amaya?
Yeah, hey, Christy. Prosecutors filed charges today against a 10-year-old girl and a 9-year-old boy. The charges against them include attempted murder, rape, felonious assault, kidnapping, and strangulation. We're told the 2 will be summoned to juvenile court at a later date. There's no minimum age for prosecution in Ohio, but experts say cases involving kids under 12 are extremely rare. Instead of focusing on just punishment, the juvenile court will now have to look at competency, understanding, and rehabilitation, questions that are especially difficult when the defendants are still in elementary school. Legal professor Michael Benza says that's exactly why moving forward with charges like these can be so complex.
Trying to prove what a 9-year-old even understands about their conduct, let alone what are they thinking about doing when they're doing this conduct, makes it very difficult to prosecute people this young.
Benza says prosecutors will have to determine whether the children are competent to stand trial, meaning they understand what's happening in court and can help their lawyers. He calls this case an outlier, saying Ohio's laws weren't written with children this young in mind. He also notes this case will stay behind closed doors due to their age. We asked Benza if there's a chance the children's parents could face charges. We'll have his response coming up at 5.
Yeah, very good question there. All right, Amaya, thank you.
So I didn't find the one where he responded about the parents being able to so according to this, it's a little girl and a little boy.
Right, that's why I said they never said it when you kept saying the young men. That's why I said they never said it was all boys. They just kept saying the children.
So I apologize about that.
Steve, you're absolutely right. He said charges are just to control the subject of the situation. There will be some new groups. There will be some new... oh, excuse me. and new laws that will come of this. Absolutely.
I agree. You also stated the mother's fault. And I think my question would more so be in what way? Because there's a lot of parents who do the best that they can to raise their children, and when they leave, the children act another way. When we did the episode, how the environment, where I had the guy talk about how the environment has more control over the child than most parents do. And it's not that parents don't have control, is they pick up on what they see, what they hear, what they watch tends to have a degree of more weight.
I agree, but not at this age. Unless these kids are raising themselves, I have to disagree.
So let me ask this question. What would be the difference in these kids versus the other kids we showed that was in the CVS?
Just like we said, them kids we saw the sister, so we know that's how they were raised. They got that from home.
Right.
So what would be the difference? You're the one saying that it's a difference.
No, I'm not saying it's a difference. What I'm saying is more so of Steve said it's the mother's fault. My thing is sometimes there are also outside factors because we don't know anything about these kids' parents.
Right.
There wasn't, as like with the other group, we had what's the word you have in science? You have a control. You have something that you can base. You can go back to the original.
So my opinion, no, we can't say it's the mother's fault completely. I can't say it's the father's fault because I don't know who's in those children's lives. But what I can say is it goes back to their upbringing and who raised them.
Because
at the ages of 8, 9, and 10. Now, had we been talking about 12, 15, 16, 12, 13, 14, 15, that's a different. But 10 and under, they're still being programmed.
Right.
So they are a product of what's programmed them. They are a product of what they've seen, experienced. They're complete mimics of that. They haven't even gotten to a place where they can truly choose the outside environment, if that makes sense, except if their environment is raising them.
Gotcha.
If their parents are not, let's say mom is working 2 jobs and their neighborhood is raising them, then that's something different.
So Steve said, I blame the mother of the 5-year-old first of all. Your child to walk out of the house is unforgettable. Well, unforgivable. Well, the mother of the 5-year-old dropped the child off at a relative's house. So she can, I guess she was going to work, but she was going to do something. The 5-year-old, so the 5-year-old also has good, how you doing, Prophet Miller. So I think the mother was going to work or she was going to do something. She dropped the child off at a relative's house.
Now, I could have missed that part. I didn't hear that part. I just heard the child walked out of the door and the mom realized it and ran out there.
No, so can I?
Yeah.
A mother in shambles after she says she found her baby girl beaten and abused. For the first time, the child's mother is speaking out, and you won't believe who police say are the suspects. 19's Noelle Williams joins us now with this heartbreaking story, and we want to warn you, some of the images and details are graphic.
I literally saw the worst thing ever. Like, I saw my daughter unrecognizable.
What happened to Antavia Kinnebru's daughter is something most people will have a hard time understanding. She says her bubbly, sweet 5-year-old daughter was beaten and assaulted. This picture showing hair ripped out of her scalp. Police revealing startling details. The victims and suspects are under the age of 10 years old. This is shocking news to the 21-year-old mom.
I couldn't wrap my head around it.
Kinnebru's mother held her hand as she wept. She tells me out of safety she does not want to share her daughter's name or show her face, but she explains what happened that day. She tells me on September 13th she had dropped her daughter off at a family member's home near East 145th Street and St. Clair Avenue. Somehow her baby girl walked out the front door. When Kinnebru found out, she rushed over and saw her 5-year-old being treated by EMS several blocks over.
Her hair was scalped from her head. She had bruises and blood all over her body. Her eyes was filled with blood. Her lips and mouth was filled with...
So she left the young lady, the
baby.
She left her baby
In the care of somebody
in
else.
the care of someone else. I don't think that, to me, doesn't make her a bad parent. It doesn't make her careless. And when you get a phone call that your child, something has happened to your child, then you come back and now you see EMS working on your child. Also, I don't know if it's in this clip, but the child was autistic.
It's in that clip.
So the child is also artistic. So I think for me, I'm looking over the report and it says that it's a 10-year-old girl and a 9-year-old boy. And I think with me, I am I think I'm kind of trying to wrap my mind around what would possess a 10-year-old girl to do this to another little girl.
Children tend to do to others what's been done to them. Unfortunately, especially at such young ages, I didn't hear it either, Stevie Steve. At such young ages, children do what has been done to them or that they have seen done to people. We also have, you asked the question, what possessed a child to do this? Nobody in their right mind would do such a thing. So we're not dealing with just children. We're dealing with children that have been in one way, shape, form, or fashion traumatized, and you're dealing with the possession. So in their findings, they are now going to have to figure out what happened to these children to make them act in such a heinous way.
And I agree with that. Because you have because I think for me, based on other details that I heard about this case that I didn't want to bring on here, what they, I don't want to say apparently, because the case is still open. So allegedly, the acts that they did to this 5-year-old means that they had to themselves be exposed to sexual activity. They had to be exposed to something sexual.
Not only sexual, but in the way that it was done. That's abuse.
Right.
Most people whom have been abused, most children who have been abused in the same way that they were abused.
So, with that being said, that would mean that this 10-year-old and this 9-year-old, because they have been brought up on 5 different charges, 1 count of attempted murder, which means that they're in an environment that promotes violence. They charged them with 4 counts of rape. Not 1 count, but 4 counts of rape. They said that allegedly they stuck sticks and dirt in her mouth sexually. They abused her with sticks sexually. And the little boy apparently urinated on the little girl. They charged him with 2 counts of felonious assault. I had to look that up. They also charged him with 1 count of kidnapping.
Because they lured the little girl. Another thing said that they lured her
Said they
away.
lured her out. They lured her away. And then they said that they found the little girl with strangulation, so they charged them with 1 count of strangulation.
That's rage. That's not anger, that is rage. It's a spirit of rage.
So the felonious assault is knowingly causing or attempting to cause physical harm by use of a deadly weapon or dangerous ordinance, knowingly causing physical harm to someone or their unborn child. And most of these are carrying the minimum of 3 years up to life in prison. Stevie Steve said, I see race is not a subject in the case because it was a whole world would have heard about this case. You're absolutely correct. Another thing that has me on edge about this is where are all the people who claim that they're here for the children? Where are all the activists that come out Where are the
No,
pastors
I
that?
ain't never heard. They got activists for the children.
Right.
I ain't never really seen. And I'm just saying, I've never seen anyone. I've never seen any group come out on behalf of children.
They-
Honestly,
They do. When Steve makes a great point. When it's if this was a little black girl got lured by a 10-year-old white girl and a 9-year-old white boy, this
but
would
then
have
it
been.
wouldn't be about the child, though. That's what I'm saying. I've not heard any activists actually come out about a child.
Well, they have-
if that makes sense.
I got you. But they do have groups for child protection, and everything else. And even if this would have been an immigrant child, everybody would have known about this case.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying
But you never heard.
I've
Yeah.
never seen where so the only time we do see people come out, and it's not necessarily about the children. Well, honestly, it's not ever been about the children. It's always been about race or nationality.
Right.
So when you say we're the activists for the children, I'm saying, in essence, that's a problem because I've never seen an activist. Let me say this the correct way. I've seen activists, but it's individuals, and they're working inside or on a case or something of that manner. It's never been a group of activists that's out there protesting or coming as an advocate, as a group. Am I making sense?
Right.
Okay. Stevenson said every state has laws to protect children and advocates. I get that point. And I that's what I'm saying. I've seen the individual and they're inside of the building and they're attending to the cases, but to see them outside, as we see with all of the other, like you said, Steve, if this was race, they would be out protesting with signs and all of that. You don't see that on behalf of children. We have all these children that are trafficked and all this other stuff, and you never see anybody making a big deal over our babies on the outside. You'll see they got protests and signs for LGBTQ. They have protests and signs for racism and prejudice and everything except for our babies.
So, and you do make a great point. There are 5 major children advocacies in Ohio.
Yes, you spelled it correct.
Ohio Children's Alliance, Public Children's Service Association, Groundwork Ohio, Ohio Network of Children's Advocacy Centers, Action for Children in Ohio. And we even have them here in Georgia, Voices for Georgia Children, Georgia Center for Child Advocacy, Children's Advocacy Centers of Georgia, Georgia Court Appointed Special Advocates Incorporated, and Advocates for Children. So these groups exist, these groups come out, and these groups, they are here. I think for me, my question is, where are they? Because even just looking at these real quick, just going through them as they come up, these are not ran out of the house advocacy. These are people who are government connected, government grant funded, non-profit people funded.
Right. Stevie C said, but no group with feet on the ground.
And
So that can kind of go two ways, because one way, they're kids and we don't want to what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the word I'm looking for. But by them being kids, a lot of stuff we do behind closed doors to protect them.
which I understand.
But at the same time, we're the people that are outraged about what's
taking place.
happening.
Besides the little girl, besides the mother and the grandmother, because even according to the news, just like the video you sent me, she made this public because she want more people to know, to be aware that this is happening to kids, not just her kid, because in her mind, if it can happen to her daughter, it can happen to anybody's daughter. My other question and concern and comment is, do we charge the parents of the 9 and 10-year-old? Should they parents be held liable for the actions of their children?
So here's what I'm going to say about that. I believe, and this is just my belief, once they start digging into these children's backgrounds, they're going to find stuff.
Gotcha.
They're going to find proof of these kids being abused, which would most likely lead to these kids
No open cases.
and these kids having to be removed, well, because of the crimes, they're already going to be removed, but they probably will not be released if they if they're released, they're not going to be released back into the hands of whomever has had them. That's just my belief. This is what I have experienced, seen over the years. Once they open the cases and start getting, because they're going to have to get into the mental of these kids to figure out why, what would make a child do this. And once those can of worms are open, I do feel like whomever is on the other side of those kids is going to have to pay the piper for their part in the kids. And I could be wrong, but that's just how things has gone, if that makes sense.
That makes sense. The reason I asked that is because the young man who shot the school in North Georgia, because his father knew his son had some things going on, and he still had access to the father's weapons, they charged the father
right?
also.
Stevie C said, the question is this case that important to make a difference in the state they're in or the U.S. period? I think that the mother making this kind of noise, because it's actually I've been hearing about this case on a consistent basis. People are just bringing it up for about the last 2 weeks. So I do believe that it's making enough noise to make some kind of changes.
So no bail has been set because they said it's different with the kids. However, it says they have not been released into their parents' custody. The 10 and 9-year-old. They're still investigating, so no charges have been brought against the parents. I do agree with you that once they begin to dig, they will find things. I think my question, and I'm going to answer Steve's question.
I'm sorry. And it could be other family members and not directly the parents.
Right. What do you mean?
It could be other family members that have been abusing
Oh, yeah, the kids.
and not directly
The parents. So let me ask this question. Let's say that abuse is found between the 9 and the 10-year-old. And let's say that it is the parent or another family member. Because of their abuse being the trigger cause of what they did, should the parent and or family member suffer? Well, I don't want to say suffer. Should they be charged not only with the abuse that they have done to the 9 and 10-year-old, but also be charged with the same charges that they are charging the 9 and 10-year-old with against the 5-year-old? Because you are the contributing factor to why this is taking place. Because best believe they're gonna bring in psychiatrists.
Yep.
They're gonna bring in this.
Yep.
They're gonna bring in everybody's in. And if all it takes is for the defense to bring in certain psychiatrists and this, that, and the third, and they can paint the 9 and 10-year-old as victims themselves, which caused them to victimize the 5-year-old. So my thing is, because I already see this being spent that way. So if it's going to get spent that way, do you now charge the foundation of all victims?
The foundation of all,
Yeah,
the kids.
Right.
Yeah.
So if his Uncle Johnny did this, or stepdaddy Mike did this to the 9 and 10-year-old, now do we? Because the question becomes: are the 9 and 10-year-old related? Are the 9 and 10-year-old even in the same house? If not, then who was the conspirator, or who conspired to do this to the little girl? Was it the 10-year-old? Was it the 9-year-old? And now, depending on who did that, now we're gonna go into, okay, so what is taking place in your household? Then what is taking place in your household for you to even follow suit? So now you have all of these factors. My thing is, once we get to the root, do we charge the root with everything? And to answer Steve's question, I believe that this case should be made public, because it does.
But that's not the question.
It said, well, is it important to make a difference in the state?
Is this case that important to make a difference in the state they are in, or the U.S.?
Period.
Right.
So, and that's what I'm saying. I believe it is. Let me tell you why. Because even though every 9, 10, 11-year-old is not committing attempted murder, rape, kidnapping, and those things, they are out here gangbanging. They are out here getting away with armed robbery because they're 8, 9, and 10 years old. Now, if Ohio can set a precedence in America that, hey, you being 9 and 10 does not exempt you from the from your actions. Other states will follow. other states will begin to look and say, oh, okay, Ohio got away with it. The question now becomes, does it come down on an appeal? When it goes to the appellate court, do they push it to the district? Does the district now push it up to the state Supreme Court for the state Supreme Court to judge, should they still be tried as an adult? Should they be looked at as this? Should they be looked at as that? And then if they can't get what they're looking for, now we can take this to a higher court. We can now go to a federal district court because they're going to get charged with felonies. They're already charged. Everything that they're charged with is a felon. The question now becomes, what do they find in the investigation?
Because that's going to be
because that's going to be the end all be all. Because you think about it now, excuse me, Georgia is known, and New York even is also known of having 8, 9, 10-year-old gang members that are out here gangbanging. Just like I was watching the police officer on who was one of the gang unit on Sean's podcast, and he was saying that a lot of the young people who are in gangs are 8, 9, 10 years old, and there's nothing he can do to them. They're out here committing murder and armed robbery at 8, 9, and 10. And he's like, until they're 13, 14,
nothing they can do.
Their hands are tied as the police. So I think that this should be brought to a bigger light, because now we only focus on the 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old. If we go ahead, and don't get me wrong, I agree. Laws were not written for 8, 9, and 10-year-olds.
Right.
Because the founding fathers of this country, or those who built states, were not thinking 100 years, 250 years down the road that
these kids,
a 10-year-old
right,
is gonna go out here and commit robbery, and they're gonna commit attempted murder. Nobody is really thinking that. You think of a 10-year-old, dude, you still playing with Legos. Like, you still, you just came off the sippy cup. Like, you really just started drinking out of a glass a week ago. Like, so you're not thinking that a 9 and a 10-year-old is plotting rape, attempted murder. So I think this case is important. I think this case should be brought to the forefront for that simple fact that now we have to now write laws, because this is not the first incident of kids doing things to other kids. I was watching a reel yesterday. There was a 10-year-old who got suspended from school because he put laxative in his cupcake that he knew the bully was going to try to beat him up for.
Well,
What? They suspended the boy and not the bully.
so what they do to the bully?
Wait. They now call the parents back up, the little boy, parents back up to the school because the parents of the bully wanted the little boy expelled. Not just suspended, but completely kicked out of the school. So the father of the little boy said, let me get this straight. Your son has been bullying my son. My son can't go to school. My son can't function. My son. So now, instead of my son resulting to violence,
All he did was put a laxative.
my son knew that your son was going to forcibly take his cupcake. So he put laxative in the cupcake. So the dad said, unfortunately for the bully, the laxative took effect immediately because he ended up dunging on himself. The little boy boo-booed his clothes. Then they said he spent another 2 hours in the bathroom. So he said, so you want to expel my son for cleaning out your son's colon for being a bully.
Right.
My thing is, as a principal, I couldn't have been the principal in the school. And it's documented. The little boy has been documenting, and he's been telling the teacher. He's been coming home telling his parents. So
that
if I'm
he's
sitting on the
being
school
bullied.
board, no, if anybody gonna get kicked out of school,
It's gonna be
your
the
son.
bully.
Because guess what? That's a great idea. Me personally, if I was a principal, when I heard that he was in the bathroom, I'm not suspending because I already know you a troublemaker. I already know what you about.
And the fact that this young man was smart enough
To put outsmart the bully, you can't be mad at that. Now,
and he did it without violence.
So now I say all of that with these kids. Because the dad said, what type of parenting are you doing that you think my son should be expelled?
But your son should get away with what he's doing.
But your son should get away with it. When are we gonna start making people? Because let me tell you, because Steve, you did bring up a great point. Let me tell you the great point that you brought up. You brought up race. Well, Ohio may be a little different. Because Ohio is a little different. Give me a liberal state. Oh, let's take New York. Y'all very liberal. If this took place in New York City, all of the factors that they came out of the projects, they did this, they did that, they parents in Section 8, oh my God, they struggling right now. The kids might be having a relapse because the mama can't feed them because the food stamps are cut off. They would have went down a million rabbit holes on why this little girl and this little boy did what they did. My thing becomes, when do we begin to stand on accountability and responsibility? Because I asked this question earlier. Where do we as the church come into play? Where do we as the body of Christ come into play? But and let me say this, and I mean this with no malice, and this is no disrespect to anybody, no groups, or anybody who do what they do. This is no disrespect to no church, no organization, nobody. I believe prayer requires action. Prayer changes things. I believe that prayer changes things. But prayer also, I believe, in some instances, requires action. Just a thought. And what do I mean by that? A lot of the times we're praying for certain things. Praying for what? Certain things. but we don't take action on the things that we're praying for. We can pray for all the little kids in the neighborhood, but yet we don't do anything with the little kids in the neighborhood or for the little kids in the neighborhood. My wife has been saying something for the last couple of months on this show. Now I'm going to repeat her right now. And that would be, until we go out and meet the needs of the people, some things are not going to change. How I take that is, sometimes we can pray till we purple in the face. But these things are not going to change. If that makes sense. Because we don't want to, I guess, offend people, I believe that evil prevails when righteous men do nothing. I could be wrong. And if I'm wrong, my prophet is on here. He can correct me. When my wife comes back, I'm open to correction. But I believe that evil prevails when righteous men do nothing. I haven't seen many pastors speak on this, because usually in certain situations, Stevie still make a great point. Even the pastors would have came out. But where are we? Where are we as the body? Where are we? Because my heart goes out to this little girl. She's only 21. How much of this is the 5-year-old going to remember? Because there's not much you really remember that young. Some things you do. Some things you suppress so you don't have to remember. But imagine how this is going to affect the upbringing of this little girl. Imagine the thought process of the mother. You let my baby out your house. Her trust is gone. There's so many factors. How is this going to affect her 10 years from now when she's 15? Will she constantly be reminded of this situation? Well, mama, why you won't let me go nowhere? My mama's so strict. My mama won't let me do nothing. My mama. And not understanding if she doesn't remember what transpired. And then 10 years from now, she would think that her mama is being mean and rude. You can't go nowhere. I don't want you hanging out over there. Oh, my mama tripping. And now the enemy that was on the 10 and 9-year-old has been transferred to the 5-year-old, is laying dormant for the right time to rear its head in the spiritual. Because now there's spiritual ramifications that are in play. A 9 and a 10-year-old has been tempered spiritually, that found an opportunity to raise his head, which now has affected them for life. He's gonna feel he's done his job. Because we don't know what the little girl was created for, the 10-year-old. We don't know what the 9-year-old was created for. We don't know what the 5-year-old is created for. But the enemy has come in and has disrupted their lives forever.
And if nobody reaches out to these families with Christ, how long will this cycle continue?
Because now you have to take in consideration the mindset. Like they said, first off, we're talking about a 9 and a 10-year-old. Do you comprehend what you did? It's almost like pleading insanity. Because if you can't comprehend your act, or you can't comprehend the charges that are being brought against you, then you can't really be held liable for the crime. What is the mental capacity? Because think about this. Let's say they say the mental capacity is not good enough to stand trial. They don't understand. They still got to live with what they did. And please believe that they're going to do it again. It might be different, but there's a great chance that it'll happen again. They are already over-sexualized. They're already over-sexualized. Based on what they said they did to this little girl, they're already over-sexualized. They perform sexual acts with trees and dirt and sticks on this little girl. And then we keep supporting the people who put out this content. because they black. Oh, because they from the hood. We still support the content. We still support BET. We don't tell black actors and create something, excuse me, that will uplift the people. But we keep talking about poverty. We keep talking about we keep over sexualizing. This one sleeping with that one. This one sleeping with that one. Just like they got the songs playing catered to 9 and 10-year-olds where, oh, my girl like girls. Oh, I see this girl, I think my thumb in her butt.
Oh, wait a minute.
They idolize inside of me. Come
It's a
on.
song like that?
It's playing on the radio. This was the #1 record for 2 years. Then, oh, I shot at your mama. Keep my name out your mouth. This nigga Thug shot at this man's mama. This man literally shot at this man's mama and then beat trial. Thug at home right now. About to come out with a new album and telling all the sodomy that's taking place behind closed doors. We don't celebrate the person going to college, but we throw parties for niggas coming home for murder. This is where we are as a culture. And then we say, well, it's the mama fault. But it takes a village to raise a child. So if the village is saying, I love girls kissing girls, I see a slut. She a pretty slut, so I stick my thumb up her butt. If this is what the village is presenting to an 8-9-year-old, what do we expect an 8-9-year-old to go out? They gonna perform what they see. It's visual. Everything is right here. All the videos they have access to. Right here. Now they mad because certain states like Ohio and Georgia, they trying to pass laws where your child can't have access to certain things at a certain age. But the parents are signing them up.
Because it's a babysitter.
The parents are signing them up.
Because it's a babysitter. Because it's a babysitter.
I think phone companies should have a rule. You can't buy an iPhone for how old is the child? We don't care nothing about how you feel. You can go to the company down the street. But guess what? The company down the street got to come up under the new federal law too. This is why they banned Twitter. This is why I ran out and bought Oracle stock. Because they was going to make Oracle take over Twitter. Oracle thing was they was going to turn Twitter into what China used Twitter for. We're going to talk about education. We're going to talk about being good. We're going to promote more Christian content. This is why they didn't want Oracle to take over. That's why they didn't want America to take over. So that's why Trump said we're banned it. And when they shut Twitter down, the ghetto, it wasn't white America. It was the trailer park in the ghetto that went stupid about Twitter being shut down for 24 hours. I mean, TikTok being shut down for 24 hours. Because China don't show the content in their country where TikTok is made. They don't show what they show here. They don't show.
They censor it.
You can't show a little girl and a little boy making out. You can't show a 8-year-old. You got 10-year-olds running around here like this on TikTok. They ain't showing that in China. That's banned. The creator of TikTok is like education. Now they got a fake Christianity, but at least they giving them some faith, some uplifting. You're better. You can rise. They teaching.
It ain't Christianity, it's morals.
They giving them morals. They giving them values. They teaching them how to read. They giving them adding and subtracting. This is what they get on TikTok. And this is why Trump was like, oh, so we can't get that? And then shut it down. Oh, you can find what you want on TikTok. These children finding what they want. They all on YouTube. They all on Instagram. Everything that you soft porn on TV. I was talking to Prophet Miller today. I was like, it seemed like every TV show that's dealing with the church or a pastor, he a crook, he a liar, he a homosexual, he a womanizer, he an adulterer. There's, especially a black one, there's nothing good about our culture on TV. And then you wonder why a 9 and a 10-year-old is out here kidnapping, strangling, raping, and attempting murder on a 5-year-old. Mm-hmm. Because this is something that the village done taught them. Netflix put out one of the biggest shows 5 summers ago. Was about little girls with their legs spread open, popping in front of the camera and bent over. This is what they teaching our children.
Yep.
This is what they giving to our children.
Yep.
And the parents are sitting there just. I was watching the dude rebuke a pastor, and they wanted to escort him out the church. He said, y'all seem like good people. Y'all gave me a great welcome. But you in here talking about LGBTQ and all this other stuff that the Bible speak against. How you standing here? How you standing in the pulpit? We promote shows from the pulpit. Oh, such and such came to the church today. But then when you leave out of here, you go create content that is completely opposite of the Jesus you claim you love.
Yep. You're absolutely correct.
And this is where we are in America. Sodomy is promoted. There was a father that was standing in front of a school board telling them, you are my ex. They took this man away from his daughter. They gave the mama the counselors, the lawyers, the backing, because the little girl wanted to do a gender change. And he was like, the two people that should have been talking about this is me and my ex. But because I didn't agree with the gender change, y'all done took him to court. Y'all done called me out my name. Y'all done labeled me a racist. Y'all done labeled me a hater. Y'all have completely tried to destroy the relationship between me and my daughter. And he said, you, the school board, y'all started it in your school secretly. And then you turned around when I came and disagreed with it. You went and got lawyers, psychiatrists, and therapists and everybody to arm my ex for the court to come and say, this is where we are in America. This is how we as the church is being persecuted. Y'all think that we supposed to be hiding underground and we supposed to be getting shot at because we taught Jesus. No, our persecution gonna come through legislation. They ain't gotta lock us up. They ain't gotta shut it. They ain't got to make us go underground.
Technically, that's what they're trying to do. They are trying to make us go underground.
They
trying
are.
to shut you down.
They're trying to shut you down. Just like there was another assassination attempt 2 days ago they found on Trump. There was another assassination attempt on a pastor who's speaking out. We are at war spiritually. This, a 9 and a 10-year-old, if that don't show you that we are at a spiritual war, I don't know what else to show you. I don't know what else to tell you. But it's where we at. And if we don't do something, it's going to get real ugly. 7 million people came out, so they say, give or take, to protest no kings. But they not protesting the king or a king. They really, if you look at what they believe in, they are protesting the King of Kings. Because there's nothing that the King of Kings stand for that they want. They want it all gone bye-bye. They with this. We in trouble. Our children are suffering. Our children are suffering. We arguing over food stamps. Because you don't want to get a job. And it's crazy because the mama who need help, y'all ain't gonna help her.
That's not true. And I'm going to say this. We're not going to generalize everybody.
No, okay.
Don't do that. Because a lot of people on food stamps still need them.
I'm not saying that. Okay, so let me correct my statement.
Please.
Statistically, over 70% of people on food stamps don't need them. Statistically. just going off the numbers.
I don't really care what statistics say. I'm sorry.
So,
Because I feel like statistics only give you what they want.
okay.
So, what I'm going to say, again, we're not going to generalize.
All right. There are people who need help that can't get it.
Some who
There are a
I
lot.
do
There
agree.
are a lot of mothers who need help that can't get it. I live with one. I seen it firsthand. And I know a lot of mothers who need help that can't get it. And you have a lot that abuse the system. Not everybody, but there's a great number that do. But at the end of the day, we're arguing over things that won't move a needle, when we should be focusing on the things that should move a needle. And I'm not saying that that's not important, but what I'm saying is we're sitting out here arguing over things that are not important. And you have people out here who are suffering. There are real issues, there are real things that are taking place in this country. So, comments, concerns? You want to say anything else on this case?
All right, so with that being said, we will see you all on tomorrow.
Yeah, sorry. And pray for Jimmy Fallon. I just saw that he lost his baby. So.